Hello, I'm Connie Kelly, the Director of the Carver Council on Aging. I would like to welcome you to our new program, Senior Safety. Since everyone is practicing social distancing and staying at home to keep themselves safe, we needed to develop a program to bring valuable information and resources out to our senior community. As a cooperative effort between Plymouth County District Attorney Tim Cruz, the Carver Council on Aging, the Plimpton-Carver Triad, and Area 58 Community Access Media, we are proud to present this program. The Senior Safety Program has been designed to be educational, informative, and lighthearted. It will cover a variety of topics, which will include public safety, supportive services, and community interests. The topic we chose to explore for this episode is brushing scams, like the seeds from China that some of our viewers may have received, and some other recent scams that have surfaced in our community during COVID-19. Our guests for this segment are Plymouth County District Attorney Tim Cruz and Senior Representatives Mary Vaca and Paul Kelly.
Well, thanks, Connie, for having me on today's program. It's nice to see Mary and Paul also. And it's great to be part of this program that we're doing here in Carver and throughout our county, especially during COVID. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name's Tim Cruz, and I'm the district attorney here in Plymouth County. And I think, especially as we live in these incredibly unprecedented and challenging times, it's more important than ever, in my opinion, that we continue to talk to our seniors and talk to people in our communities regarding some of the things that are going on in our communities and some of the things that you have to keep your eyes open for. Since the start of the coronavirus outbreak, law enforcement officials across the world have talked about, all the different increases in scams and cyber crimes, and a lot of it is due to misinformation and fear that's associated with COVID-19. And unfortunately, like I see in my line of work, every crisis brings a new line of scams and schemes and people trying to take advantage of it. And we have people who are always trying to take advantage of people who are unsuspecting and are good-hearted and good-natured. And that's why it's important for us to, while we stay healthy and while we stay vigilant from the virus, at the same time, we stay healthy and we stay vigilant regarding people who may be trying to steal either your monies or your information.
Well, I'll start with the first question.
Thanks, Mary.
It's been reported in the news that people are receiving seeds from China. Is that a type of scam?
Yeah, unfortunately, Mary, it is. And they call it a brushing scam. And I think we've all probably heard a little bit about it. But basically, unmarked seed packets from China have been arriving in mailboxes all around the United States with no explanation and no reason. The package bears the name China Post, and it might be labeled as jewelry, small electronics, or some other item. Officials at the United States Department of Agriculture have identified at least 14 different species thus far that have turned out to be the seeds of flowering plants, herbs, or vegetables. Out of precaution, the USDA is strongly encouraging recipients to get these things not to plant or discard the seeds, because we're not sure if the plants are invasive or harmful to our area. What they're asking you to do, if you get those seeds, is to save them and mail them along with the original packaging that you got it in to the state plant regulatory official. And here in Massachusetts, if you get one of these packages, the seeds and the packaging should be sent to the Division of Crop and Pest Services at the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources, 251 Causeway Street, Suite 500, Boston, Mass. 02114. I know I'm talking fast. It's on our website. So
Okay, I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
District Attorney Cruz, you mentioned that the seeds from China are a form of brushing scam. What's a brushing scam?
Yeah, Paul, brushing scams have been popping up all over the country, and really what they are, it's the type of scam that's carried out by a company, usually a third-party seller. And this company, without notice, will send you a small, inexpensive item to a name and address that they've discovered either online or they've obtained it from purchasing a mailing list, which is out there. All of our names are being bought and sold by these various companies. The intent of the scam is to send you a small item so that the company has a record that they sent you a product. They're then going to use your name and your address to write a review, to make it appear as though you wrote a great online review regarding this item that you received from this company regarding their merchandise. These companies are really unethical, and they're utilizing this type of scam in an effort to prove to other potential customers that they're a solid company and that you're a verified buyer of this purchase. These companies are just sending seeds from China. It's been reported that in similar fashion, unordered boxes of merchandise from Amazon and other retailers has been appearing on people's doorsteps. Packages usually don't have a return address. You have no idea who ordered them, and you have no idea where they're going, who's supposed to receive them. Reports of these boxes the people have received what's in them. Usually it contains ping pong balls, humidifiers, hand warmers, flashlights, Bluetooth speakers, a very long list. The one thing they all have in common is that they're lightweight and they're inexpensive to ship. And according to the Federal Trade Commission, if you get one of these types of merchandise, and if you did not order it, you're not responsible for it, and you have a legal right to keep it. But be aware, with this type of scam, you might not be out any money. However, your personal information is potentially being utilized in an unethical fashion without your permission. These companies use this practice as the payoff for them is really highly profitable from what they're doing. They take these fake glowing reviews to improve their product ratings and encourage more sales for their company.
Other than using our names for a false review, so what the company can hopefully drive up their sales, what additional concerns should we be worried about with this type of scam?
No, that's a real good question, Connie, because as we're all thinking, what's so bad about receiving free merchandise when they're just using my name? What could the big deal be? The problem lies in that somebody was able to have these items sent to you as if you bought them. And this strongly indicates that they most probably have some of your personal information. Most likely have your name, your address, your phone number. They might even have your credit card number or other information that you have out there. And once the scammer obtains this type of information, they can use it for additional crooked enterprises, such as porch pirating. It's out there right now that people may have heard. And porch pirating has been associated with these brushing scams. Scammers and thieves, the porch pirates, will use the information that they have obtained to order merchandise from your accounts. They have your address, they watch for the delivery of the packages that come to your door, and they will steal them when you get home. So if you've received seeds or any other unordered merchandise, this might be a sign that your personal information has been compromised. You should change your passwords and keep a close eye on your credit card bills and also your credit report. And if you get an unwanted package and it's from Amazon, I urge you to contact Amazon customer service so that they can investigate and take action on these thieves.
Wow. What do these scammers think of next? District Attorney Cruz, could you tell us what other types of scams are out there that you have seen and how they work?
Sure, Mary. I mean, as I said earlier, a lot of these scams are kind of morphed into whatever the crisis du jour is at that time. So what we continue to deal with is the grandparent scam, which has been ongoing, not just here in Plymouth County, but ongoing across the country. And you need to make sure that we are taking care of these grandparent scams, because usually the way it works is this: after you go to bed, in the middle of the night, the phone rings. When people still have hardline phones and not necessarily your iPhone or whatever other phone you may have. But we all know when you get a phone call in the middle of the night, there's never good news. There's no good reason for somebody calling you at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And if you pick up your phone, you're going to hear a voice. And this is what had happened right here in Plymouth County. And you're going to hear grandma, grandpa, somebody posing as a family member. And they're going to give you a story. I just got arrested. I'm in the hospital with COVID. I got robbed. Some story is going to be there, and they need you to send them something immediately. They need money for the hospital bill. They need bail because they've been arrested for a crime, and they're begging you not to tell their parents, right? They were robbed and somebody took their plane ticket. They need money is what they need. It's always the same scenario. And they're going to start asking you to send them money. And you're going to be so startled by that phone call. What normally happens is that you will say, they're not going to say the name, Johnny, Susie, is this you? Then they've given you the name they've given the bad guy the name of the grandchild. And then that allows that scammer, once they get the name, to go on and further the scam like they normally do.
District Attorney Cruz, wouldn't I be able to recognize my grandchild's voice?
Yeah, Paul. I mean, I think that's what we're all saying is that, well, I'd be able to recognize your name, but remember, they're calling you in the middle of the night. They're startling you. They're giving you a ruse, and they're preying, on you. They're preying on, your frayed nerves that will occur in the middle of the night when you get one of those phone calls. And the next important thing is that if you blurt a name out, they're ready for the next phase of the scam. The next phase of the scam is that they're going to say, you know what, they gave me a lawyer. They gave me a doctor. Here's the person right here that you can talk to who understands all the parameters. And we had a case here in Plymouth County whereby, a young kid allegedly called up his grandmother and said that, and it was a unique twist. I'd never heard this one before. It said that he was with a friend of his up in New Hampshire. And then they got into a car accident and somebody got hurt. And as a result of that, they were taking criminal charges out against that young man. And the problem was it was because of COVID that court doesn't meet every day like it normally does Monday through Friday. It meets once a week. So therefore, if he didn't come up with $8,000 cash bail, he was going to be held in custody for a week. So right there, that has put that person. And so this kid then allegedly, once he gives up his name, gives it to his buddy, whose father just happens to be a lawyer. Isn't that convenient? And then you're not dealing with the kid who's purporting to be your grandkid at that point. At that time, you're dealing with his lawyer who's going to start giving you instructions, whether it be money for a hospital bill, money for bail, whatever the money may be. They're going to start talking to you, and they're going to set out a scenario whereby they'll probably have numerous phone calls with you, conversations with you, under the guise of trying to help you complete these financial transactions. Sometimes they're so incredibly bold that they will send a courier to your house. And in this instance, where we had this scenario up in New Hampshire, this individual spoke to this woman on the phone a number of times throughout the day, telling her that don't talk to anybody else. This is very serious. And they talked this poor woman into going to the bank and withdrawing $8,000 cash. And a lot of our banks and even our supermarkets, they realize that when the senior comes in and maybe is talking about something that's out of unusual, maybe you come in every Friday afternoon and get $25, or maybe you go and get a gift card at Shaw's or whatever it may be. But when you go in and all of a sudden you ask for $8,000, but that's out of whack. That's out of ordinary. In this instance, they actually asked that woman, are you okay? Is somebody making you do this? And she, of course, because she believed what the scammer was saying to her, said, oh, no, I'm fine. Give me the money. And they gave her money. And then, unfortunately, the courier came to her house, and she gave that courier in her driveway, who was hiding behind a mask because of COVID, $8,000 cash.
District Attorney Cruz, what should our seniors do if they receive one of these calls?
Well, if you get a call or a message or a text message or an email, whatever it may be, and people that are alleging to be your family members sound desperate for money, step number one is resist that urge to act immediately, no matter how dire the story sounds. You need to verify the caller's identity. Try not to give that person any of the family names that you may have, family or friend names. Try to ask them questions that a stranger wouldn't have the answers to. And most importantly, reach out to a victim, to a family member, to talk about this alleged victim. If there's really a situation where somebody's in the hospital or somebody's going to court, whatever it may be, what's the big deal if you talk to their parent, other than the fact maybe the grandson or granddaughter may be mad at you? What's the big deal of why is there a big secret thing here? When some people are talking about secret issues and they don't want you to talk to anybody else, that should get your antenna up that something's not going straight. But most importantly, do not ever send cash, gift cards, money transfers, because the unfortunate reality of the world that we live in is, if you give that out, incredibly difficult to ever get that back. And that's why, I'm appreciative of coming on shows like this, Connie, that your Carver's putting on, because trying to get the word out to people before it happens is the best prevention that we have in trying to stop these issues.
District Attorney Cruz, are there any other scams targeting us seniors that you are aware of and that you know about?
Yeah, and unfortunately, there are many fraudulent COVID-19 scams that are going on right now. A lot of them are dealing with, contact tracing, fraudulent billing of Medicare, COVID testing, treatment supplies, and there's the contact tracing scam that's going on right now also. And basically what that's going to be is you'll get a phone call from the scammer, and they will say something to the effect of, good morning, according to our records, you likely have been in close proximity to somebody who has tested positive for COVID-19. This means that you need now to self-isolate for whatever the time period is, 10 days, 14 days, they keep changing that. And you need to take a COVID-19 test. And of course, if you get that phone call and somebody says that to you, and the natural question is who was I near? And they're going to say to you, well, that due to the HIPAA laws and the federal laws we have regarding medical privacy, we can't tell you who it is, but it's confidential. And then they're going to tell you that, you need to be tested within 72 hours. And they're going to ask you for your best mailing address so they can send you the kit that you need. And they're also going to ask you for your credit card number for a one-time fee of $50. Now, if you start questioning that there's a fee for the kit and for the test results, what they normally do is they'll start pressuring you to read off the credit card numbers. They'll tell you that nothing's for free. The scam is going to threaten you with penalties for not complying with what their request is. So when they start threatening you, if they're asking you for credit card numbers, that's when you need to know things like that don't happen unless somebody's trying to get your information and steal from you. Earlier this year, the Massachusetts Senior Medicare Patrol Program sent out an alert to seniors telling them never to accept any form of COVID-19 testing from anybody other than a treating licensed physician or from a state designated testing site. Scammers are also going door to door, and they're approaching people in public with an offer to test them for coronavirus. And what they're doing is they're giving a false positive result, and then they're going to talk to them about they need to be treated immediately. So what they're doing is they're going to obtain or ask for you for your Medicare numbers and also for money. And they're going to go so far as to actually get monies for this sham testing, for the treatment, and also for the supplies. So they're out there working on that. And there's other scams that are going on, Social Security scams, where you have telephone scammers who are alleging that they are working for the Social Security Administration or some other government agency. And they'll probably send you some false documents that look very official. They'll send them to you via email. It's a form of phishing. And this scammer is going to tell you there's a problem with your Social Security number, there's a problem with your account, or that you owe money, you owe a fine, you owe a debt. And when you ask questions, as you should, they're going to start threatening you with arrest or other legal action if you don't pay. And these individuals, many times they want you to pay once again with gift cards, prepaid debit cards, the things that don't normally work. So remember, much like just a few months ago, we were all dealing with the IRS scam. Remember, we were all getting IRS calls. You get them at your house, and these guys are screaming at you on the phone. They're going to come and arrest you because you haven't done this. I know Mary's heard this story before, but for those of you that may not have heard my story before, I'm going to tell you and let you in on a secret from law enforcement, okay? But you got to promise not to tell anybody. The secret is this. When the police are going to come and arrest you, they're not going to call you. They're just, all right? So when people are threatening you over the phone, that's just a false threat to scare you and to make you to turn over something that you normally wouldn't do. And that's why, like I said, it's important to get this out.
This whole thing is alarming at best. How can I protect myself from this type of scam?
Yeah, Paul, the best way to protect yourself, the best way is to stay alert, ask questions. Always remember, like I said earlier, a real government employee, no matter, they might call you. You might get a phone call, but they're never going to threaten you. An employee of the Social Security Administration is never going to suspend your Social Security number. And a lot of people are scared of that. They think these agencies are going to call you up and they're going to shut down all your ability to get the benefits that you've worked your whole life for. That doesn't happen that way. An employee of the Social Security or any government agency is never going to demand immediate payment from you, and certainly not going to demand you pay with cash and some courier showing up in your driveway. I mean, think of that. That makes no sense, but they're scaring people. If you receive a threatening phone call from a government employee, be active. Call that agency, ask to speak to a supervisor, and report the call. And it may not, you may take it, they may not be threatening, but you may take it as a threat. Speak to their supervisor anyways. All right, talk to somebody else and let them know how you felt and how you felt if you felt threatened by that conversation. And they'll deal with it that way.
I received an email once from Amazon telling me that my Prime membership was up and that my card that was on account wasn't associated with it anymore. And they wanted either a new card or the updated information. Is that a scam typically? Is that real?
Yeah, most likely, Connie, most likely that's a phishing scam. And during the pandemic, we've certainly seen an increase in phishing scam emails that have malware incorporated into them. And these emails often contain misleading information and false links. And what we've normally been seeing is it's usually coming from, at least in our county anyways, it's coming from companies that are alleged to be from Amazon, Comcast, Netflix, Facebook. They all land in our email boxes.
District Attorney Cruz, what in the world is a phishing scam and how does it work?
I know. All these scams can be really confusing, and they've all got different names. But this is a phishing scam, and it's spelled phishing with a PH, not an F. And what a phishing scam is, it's a type of online scam where criminals are going to send an email or a text message that appears to be from a legitimate company. The scam usually involves, once again, an alarming ruse to startle you, and so you're going to be inclined to follow their instructions and provide your sensitive personal information. These emails and text messages often have malware incorporated into them, and they often contain misleading information and false links. So, like, for example, when you're talking about that Amazon email scam that we spoke about earlier, a person that can receive an email stating that their Amazon Prime subscription account's about to expire, but, like Connie said, but there's something wrong with the credit card account. It needs to be either updated or they need a new credit card to renew the subscription. Now, when you look at the email that you got, it looks legitimate. It's going to have the Amazon logo right there. It's going to have the from box on the top of the email states that it's from Amazon Prime. But when you click on the word Amazon Prime in the from box, a weird looking email is going to pop up on the display. And that's a great way to determine that the email is fraudulent and that this is a scam. So remember, the link that contain these emails probably are malware. And malware is designed to steal your personal information that you enter into the forms that they supplied you so that they can then use that against you. That's why it's so important that we be very careful with any information we give out, especially when people are cold calling us. Remember, you can always reach out to your bank. You can always reach out to Sears. And you know that you made those phone calls. You know those are legit. But if they're calling you, I mean, we've had cases where people's banks are calling them. Another secret, the bank already has all your information. They're not going to be asking you for your social security number, but once again, they have that guise of looking very authoritative, and that's where you need to be careful.
I recently received a text that stated that I had a package being delivered, and the text had a tracking code and a link to set up delivery options. Is this all deliberate or legitimate?
Well, I mean, it appears to be, once again, another phishing scam, which they call this one smishing. So there's a lot of ishings going on, and they all have different letters, but it can be very confusing. But this type of a text message is a scam. And the reason I say that is that a legitimate company is going to inform you of your shipping and your delivery options at the time that you place your order on their site. Many times you have to pay for it. Do you want it first class? Do you want it second class? Do you want it overnight? So obviously it's going to be done at that time. They might text you to alert you that maybe package is scheduled to be delivered or that it's already been delivered, but they're not going to contact you in a text to set up a delivery because don't forget, you have to pay for that in advance for the shipping portion of it. So I've received reports from people that have got texts from FedEx, UPS, Post Office, Amazon, stating that their package is en route. And once again, the text looks legitimate. And it contains a tracking code and a link, and that they need to use to set up these delivery options. The scam's very difficult to detect because you probably, as most people, especially during COVID-19, probably ordered something online. And you assume that the text is assimilated to that. But if you click on the link for the tracking code or delivery setup, and it brings you to a form that asks for your personal and your financial information, be alert and immediately click out of that. This is malware, and it is designed, sole purpose is to steal your information.
District Attorney Cruz, what should our seniors do if they receive one of these phishing emails or text messages, and after looking at it really close and still can't determine whether or not it's fake?
Yeah, if anybody gets one of these emails or texts and they're still not sure if it's legitimate, I encourage you to close out of the email or the text immediately, go online and pull up the business website that you made the purchase from, or that's reflected in the text message, to check its validity. So like if you got something from Amazon, that Amazon scam we talked about, go on Amazon.com. Sign into your account using the login section on their website. Remember, you're doing it now, not them. They're not coming to you. You're going to the legitimate Amazon.com. Go into the settings, and under the category of your account, select your account or recent purchases option. This is a safe and secure way to determine if an email or a text is fraudulent, because if there really is an issue with your account, if there's an order or a delivery schedule issue, it's going to be reflected there. So to protect yourself from being victimized, I'm urging everybody, stay vigilant, always be suspicious. And anybody who believes that they might have been scammed or duped and that their information may have been compromised, I'm asking them to please reach out to your local police. And I know that sometimes people feel that if somebody dupes you and talks you into something, you might feel like it's foolish. Please don't be, because the people that are stealing your information are professional thieves. They're really good at it. And the way that we're going to combat this is by making sure we get information out with shows like this, and also that people also will go to the police, because every now and then you might read in the newspaper, whatever it is, and say, beware, there's a grandparent scam going on. Somebody may have been caught up in that. It's important to get the word out so that other people also understand that, you know, these people are fishing and they throw a bunch of lines in the water and they're going to get somebody to bite. And so it's important for us to make sure that we have people aware of that.
Well, thank you, District Attorney Cruz, for taking the time to speak to us today. This is great information and a valuable resource for our senior community, that's for sure. Is there some place that our viewers can go to get additional information regarding the resources that your office offered or offers?
Absolutely, Connie. We have on our website, PlymouthDA.com, everything that we talked about today and more can be dealt with there. It also can lead you to other information, other websites, other phone numbers if you have questions. It's great to participate in shows like this. It's great to try to get the word out to our seniors and to everybody else, because you don't have to be a senior to be taking advantage of this.
I know, yeah, everyone could be victim to some of this.
Absolutely. So, you know, all I can say at this point is thanks for having me today. I appreciate it. And hopefully everybody remains safe, and we'll get through all these issues amongst us soon enough.
Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you, District Attorney Cruz, once again for coming on the program. And I'd like to extend a special thank you to Mary Vaca and Paul Kelly for coming on and asking such insightful questions. And I would like to thank you at home for tuning in to watch this show. This wraps up this episode of Senior Safety, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Everybody, nice job.